I'm Matt Morissette.
And I'm Matt Kuhn. And I'm Random Fact Man.
This instructional video teaches the average Joe about eating and breathing,
Also known as the digestive and respiratory systems.
This section of our video focuses on the digestive system.
It consists of the mouth, the teeth, tongue, salivary glands, and amylase, the pharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, the small and large intestines, and finally, the pancreas and liver. Right, Matt?
Right, Matt. Now this is a cheeseburger. It's going to aid us in our description of the digestive system. Matt, why is there a bite out of the cheeseburger?
No idea.
Okay, anyway, as food enters the body, the food is first broken down by the teeth in the mouth. The teeth are aided by saliva, the tongue, and amylase.
The structure of the teeth, strong, rough, and pointy, aids in their function of chopping up food.
Salivary glands, containing saliva, secrete the liquid containing enzymes that also break down food. Their sac-like structure aids in their function of containing and producing saliva.
The tongue is a grouping of muscles that aids the mouth in breaking down the food by moving it into the path of the teeth. Its large muscular structure aids in its function of moving food.
The final component of the mouth is amylase.
What's mayonnaise got to do with the mouth? Idiot!
No, Matt. Amylase, a chemical found in the mouth that aids in the breakdown of food.
After a cheeseburger is thoroughly mashed up in the mouth, it travels through the pharynx and into the esophagus.
Here, the muscular tube-like structure of these organs aids in the swallowing of food. This process is known as peristalsis.
Random Fact Man here, and this is why you can swallow upside down.
Now our cheeseburger, renamed bolus, enters the stomach.
The stomach is a large muscular sac that contains acid. The stomach's special acid-resistant lining aids in its function of containing the acid.
The acid is responsible for chemical digestion, in which food is broken down even further.
The muscles of the stomach churn and mix the stomach content until it forms a liquidy mass known as chyme. This is known as mechanical digestion.
After mechanical digestion, the churning stomach and moving gases continues to attempt to break down chyme, even though there is no food in your stomach. This is what makes your stomach growl.
Right here.
After both chemical and mechanical digestion, the semi-digested food moves through the small intestines.
The small intestines is a long set of tubing with an extreme amount of surface area in its many wrinkles. The surface of the wrinkles, known as villi, aid its function of absorbing the maximum amount of nutrients.
The food now exits the body through the large intestines. The next system is... Wait, Matt, what's the next system?
It's a new car!
No, actually, it's the respiratory system. The respiratory system consists of the nasal cavity, the pharynx, the larynx, the trachea, the bronchus, the bronchioles, the alveoli, the lungs, and the diaphragm.
In this diagram, yellow will represent oxygen entering the respiratory system, and green will represent carbon dioxide exiting.
First, oxygen enters the body through the nasal cavity, a set of tubes leading to the pharynx and larynx. The open passage structure of the nasal cavity aids in its function of directing moving gases while still allowing ease of breathing.
From the nasal cavity, the oxygen travels through the pharynx, where it then passes to the larynx. Their tube-like structure aids in their function of directing gases.
From the larynx, oxygen travels through the trachea. The trachea is much like the larynx and pharynx because of their similar tube-like structures. Its tube ends in two branches, known as the bronchi, singular bronchus.
The trachea also filters the air we breathe.
The bronchi are also tubes, but the bronchi enter the lungs. Soon after entering the lungs, a bronchi splits into smaller tubes known as bronchioles. Bronchioles, small, branching tube-like structure, aids in their function of dispersing gas into the lungs.
The lungs are large sacs inside the chest that expand and fill with air. Their large containing structure aids in their function of holding air that moves in and out of the body.
At the end of the bronchioles are tiny sacs called alveoli. The alveoli are surrounded by capillaries, or tiny veins, which diffuse oxygen into the blood.
Actually, Matt, it's pronounced alveoli.
I'm sorry, I just really want some ravioli.
The alveoli's tiny sac-like structure aids in their function of accepting small amounts of air, and their thin membranes allow the easy diffusion of oxygen.
The diaphragm is the muscle separating the chest and abdomen. When the diaphragm contracts, it produces a vacuum in the lungs, causing them to fill up with air. When the diaphragm relaxes, air is pushed out of the lungs.
The diaphragm's large, muscular, strip-like structure aids in its function of moving to bring air in and out of the lungs.
The diaphragm also causes you to yawn. When you get sleepy, the lungs don't get enough oxygen. Your brain sends a signal, and your diaphragm contracts fully, causing you to take a long, deep breath.
Now, the diaphragm relaxes and pushes CO2 out of the respiratory system in the exact opposite path of which the oxygen entered. Hey, thanks for watching. We know some scenes were a little bit fuzzy.
But anyway, we hope you had a good laugh and enjoyed our hard work. Do it!